All right, so Tuesday we did adding and subtracting. Wednesday we did multiplying. Today we're going to be doing what's like dividing. But there is no such thing as dividing matrices. Instead, what you do is you take the inverse. Okay? So inverse and dividing are the same thing. Inverse and dividing are the same thing. Remember when we did inverse of functions? Do you remember that when I had f? Do you remember what little symbol was up here? No. Yeah, -1. All right, so that was the inverse of a function. So when you're doing the inverse of a matrix, we are going to raise it to the power of -1. All right, so we don't really need that. But so 3, 2, -7, 4, and we're going to raise it to the power of a -1.
So you multiplying by negative?
No, raising to the power of -1, not multiplying.
So that's this?
No, not yet.
You don't do that.
I already started recording, so I can't. But if you want to come sit closer, you can.
So what's the difference?
Multiplying by -1 is different than having an exponent of a -1. An exponent of a -1 means
But is it going to be like
2 to the -1 is 1 over 2. 2 times -1
So
is
this is just
-2.
dividing.
Yes. Inverse. This is dividing.
I've been doing this for a long time.
So it'd really be 1 over 2, right?
Well, it's not what you think. So dividing is just as strange as multiplying is. Now we're not going to be doing the inverses by hand. There is a way. It's like it's a formula kind of, but we're not going to do it by hand. We are going to do it in the calculator. So you don't have to worry about doing it by hand. You just need to know how to plug it in. So first you're going to plug in your matrices. 3, -7, 2, 4. And you raise it. You're going to press this button right here, this little caret sign. Raise it to the -1. All right, so anytime you need the inverse, you raise it to the -1. Press enter. It's okay with the fractions. You do sometimes get fractions here.
Okay, wait. I didn't get fractions.
Did you raise it to the -1? Are you sure?
I got a lot of fractions.
Don't do the R or E yet. Yeah. You're not going to do the row reduced echelon form because we're not trying to solve it. We just want to find the inverse. You only do row reduced echelon form when you're trying to solve a system.
I forgot how to do that already.
That's why you're going to review tomorrow.
Yay.
All right, so your answer here is 2 over 13,
A bunch of
Wait,
fractions.
actually, I remember it.
-1 over 13.
Even if you're going to be in the day, can you still take it tomorrow?
Yeah.
Wait, how do you make brackets big enough to have two?
What do you mean?
Sorry.
Huh? Do you, wait, what, Isabel? Did you answer your own question? What is your question?
How did you get the bracket to be big enough to have two?
To put 4 in there?
Yeah.
Press this black button right here. And it's this one.
Oh. Okay.
All right, let's try number 2. So number 2, same thing. I want to raise it to a -1 because I want to find the inverse. So you're going to do 8, 2, 4, -10.
What if you're doing this at home and you don't have a calculator? So what's the purpose of watching?
That's what you have tomorrow to review. Okay, and so then you are going to put your matrix in. Raise it to the -1. And hit enter. So 1 over 13.
You keep saying wait.
All right, 5 over 26, -1 over 26, and 2 over 13. All right. So, kind of to reiterate myself, 2 and 1/2 are inverses of each other because it's like dividing by 2, right? What is 2 times 1/2? 1. Okay. 3 over 2 and 2 over 3 are also inverses of each other because when you multiply them, you get what? 1. So, the point here is if you have 2 matrices and you multiply them and you get 1, they're inverses. Okay? Now, a 1 in matrix form looks kind of weird. It is called the identity matrix. So the identity matrix has diagonal 1s, and it can be any size. But you have to have diagonal 1s, and everything else is 0. That is the identity matrix. That is the matrix form of the number 1.
I have a question.
What's that?
Does it matter which way the ones go?
Yes, they have to go this way.
Okay. And what if it's just one, like?
1 and 0.
Or, no, what if it's just like 1?
Then it'd be the identity. Yeah.
Okay.
Like just a single number 1. Yeah.
Okay.
Why do we have to know this?
I'm going to explain.
Because it would be like, look at the
Diagonal ones.
All right, so why do you need to know about the identity? For the next 2, it says determine if the following are multiplicative inverses. So the way you prove whether or not these are inverses is by multiplying.
What can I do with that?
And if you multiply them and you get the identity, they're going to be inverses. If you multiply them and you get anything else, they are not inverses.
So, like, the question is are they a little one? Are these two things?
Inverses.
Inverses?
Yeah.
That's a good question.
All right, so we're going to check it in the calculator. I'm going to type this one in. 0, 2,
That's what happens when they have a stroke.
and I'm going to multiply it by this one.
This thing is dead. It said it had health on it.
What are they doing?
we just multiply them by
Yep.
No.
All right, so when you multiply them, do you get the identity?
No.
So are they inverses?
No.
Very good. So you would say no because
I just circled no.
it doesn't say it on the notes here, but I think on your practice and on your test it'll say explain. And so this is how you explain. Does not equal the identity.
Oh.
Okay.
No BC. It
Wait.
can't be in the other, like, it can't be 0, 1, and then 1, 0.
What does BC stand for?
Because
Girl,
Why do you put a slash through it?
it's just the notation.
Okay.
All right, so when I ask you to justify or to explain something, this is how you would justify it. They are not inverses because when you multiply them, you don't get the identity.
Wow.
Identity crisis? What?
All right, so let's try to do the second one.
Let's try to do.
2, 1, 5, 3.
I don't.
So what if it's like not the same row and column numbers?
You still have to try it.
That's stupid. Will it work sometimes?
Mm-hmm.
I thought this. Yes. Because.
So when you multiply these 2 matrices, do you get the identity?
Yes.
So are they inverses?
Yeah.
Yes. So you would say yes because
Oh my God.
2, 1, 5, 3 times 3, -1, -5, 2 equals,
bless you.
bless you, the identity.
I have a question. I'm gonna be really stupid, but I have a question.
Is it pertaining to matrices?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Are you worried that I might say something out of the blue?
I'm just trying not to get off track.
Okay, so if all the matrices numbers were 4, 4, 4, 4, could you reduce that to 1, 1, 1, 1?
No.
Wait, what?
I'll just ask that.
Her brain.
All right. 2 more parts. We got C and D left.
C and D.
C and D. All right, so part C, we are starting to solve some matrix equations now. All right, so we've solved matrix equations with adding and subtracting and with multiplying. So now we're going to do it with the inverses. Currently, I have this matrix C times C, and I want to solve for C. So how do you get rid of the matrix C?
Find the inverse.
Five.
The inverse, which is also like dividing, right? To get rid of it, you would divide, but in matrices, that's the same thing as inverse. So we are going to take the inverse.
So what if I put in my calculator, blah, 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 divided by blah, blah, blah? What's going to happen?
It's not gonna, it won't let you. It says like error or some kind of error. All right, so the inverse over here, it goes away. If you do it to one side, you also have to do it to the other. And this is super important. Your inverse has to go first.
My inverse has to go.
All right, so remember the order you put your your matrices when you're multiplying, it does matter. So your inverse has to go first.
I'm not gonna remember that.
So we're trying to get rid of this guy because it's with the variable. So we take the inverse and it goes away. And if we take it on this side, we also have to take the inverse on this side, which is why I wrote it down here. But the inverse goes first.
I thought you said we can't do multiplication against them if they're not equal.
Just
If you have to check the rows and the columns. So how many numbers do you have in your row? How many numbers do you have in your column? So it'll work. And if it wouldn't work, your calculator would give you an error.
C equals.
All right, -1, -9, 0, 1. A lot of people are forgetting to raise it to the -1. Don't forget, it's the inverse. And then 11, 2. Hit enter.
what?
Wait. Nope, I forgot my negative sign. That's not right. Sorry, and negative. Boom, there we go.
Stop.
7, -2. Is that what y'all got?
No.
Yes.
I have a question.
Yep.
So if we, why do you get nervous every time I
I don't
say I have
know.
a question? So if
Because-
we plug that back into C, it's going to equal 11 over 2.
Yes.
Okay, that's my question.
Because you always say some weird stuff.
What do you want me to say? I have a question. Where do babies come from? You think I'm going to ask that in the middle of class?
Nope, see, that's why we're not going off topic there.
Yes, faithfully solid.
All right, number 2.
Something like that.
All right, I'm trying to solve for x. So do I want to take the inverse of 9, -15, -21, or 39?
No.
Or the inverse of 2, -3, -7,
The
9?
second option.
The second one, right? Because
Why?
you want to get rid of the matrix with the variable. You're trying to solve for the variable, so you want to get rid of this matrix. So to solve, we're going to take the inverse of 2, -3, -7, 9. So that goes away. So 2, -3, -7, 9, inverse times 9, -15, -21, 39.
Duh.
So this is like, this is.
It is dumb. Because, like, what are we going to use in our everyday
It's
life?
literally how you
Because I want to know every time.
But instead of the subtraction sign, you put the little exponent
If I quit right now, do I at least get half a credit of algebra 2?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet. Until the
It was a
semester.
good question, okay? Evelyn, gosh.
Very valid question.
Leslie, don't make jokes like that.
All right, so your x is going to be -6, 6, -7, and 9.
What the heck?
What about us? Let us solve it.
Did you put the inverse first?
Yeah.
Did you put it with a little -1?
It just takes me forever to plug these.
Can
Oh.
is it possible to get a quarter of a credit at this point?
I don't think so, no.
Wait,
Just question.
what did I do?
Wait, I did not get that. Hold on.
I got it.
You flipped around your 3 and 7. Why did you
That's why.
Think it's think it's
A dyslexia moment.
I
Hey,
genuinely
as a
got it
representative
right,
of
'cause I
dyslexia,
used to
I don't
have
feel
with a K
appreciated.
yesterday. I don't know how I did it.
All right, y'all ready?
No.
Are y'all just saying that?
What if
No,
one of these
I'm
have
just
6 and
like-
6? Does that mean it's of the devil?
Yes.
See, that's the questions you should just not even answer. You should just look at me like, shut up.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, she said it one.
Hold on.
Clean out my ears.
11 into
Just keep breathing and breathing and breathing and breathing.
7, negative 10.
Okay, I got that now.
Okay,
All right, so we good?
I did negative 6, 6, negative 7, 9. Yes.
All right, on the back.
Face she just made.
We are not going to do number 5. I don't have room and I don't have time.
We always cross out one.
I know.
Kind of makes
Because
me happy.
I make the notes and then I'm like, no, I don't want to do that many. So, I don't know. It's better to have more just in case than not enough.
Oh, this is easy.
Okay. This is the last time we are going to talk about systems. We've done systems. This will be the 7th way we've solved a system. All right, so who can tell me some of the ways that we've done it?
Elimination, substitution.
Elimination, substitution,
Adding and subtracting.
matrices.
Yeah, matrices. A graph.
A graph.
Hey! Insolve.
And solve or limb solve.
That counts? Wow.
Mhm.
Really getting good at this. So smart.
And then one more.
Really.
Starts with a T. Table. And then the 7th one is going to be matrix equations.
How do you do tables?
You look for the point that's the same.
Yes, okay.
All right, so those were the 6 ways we've done. We're doing the 7th way today, and we are done with systems after today.
Yay.
All right, so no more
Shut up, system.
systems. All right, the difference though, there is a difference between what we did before with matrices and what we're doing today. So before we made a big matrice.
Taylor.
Thanks, Taylor.
Get out of here.
We made a big matrice and we did row reduced echelon form, right?
Wait, so can you just repeat?
Yeah, okay. What we did before with the systems.
Yes.
Mhm. We made a big matrice and we did the row reduced echelon form, right?
Right.
Okay. This is different, all right?
No.
This, we are writing
No.
a matrix equation.
Okay.
That's the difference. Matrices, just one big matrice, and a matrix equation. So that equation word is what's making it different. So when you're doing a matrix equation,
I'm tired of math.
I'm tired of learning.
I purely enjoy it. It just hates me.
all
Oh my
right,
God.
we are going to, it looks really hard, but I promise you it's not. We are going to make 3 matrices.
3 matrices. And each one?
We are going to have a coefficient matrix.
Coefficient. Can you tell me what that means again?
It's the number in front of the variable.
Okay.
I give up.
A variable matrix.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And then we're going to have our answer matrix.
You can put this in the calculator.
Yep.
Oh my God. Thank you.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
On the test, this is what I'm going to need to see, but we are solving it using the calculator. But I am going to need to see you turn the system into an equation, a matrix equation. All right, so this is the part I need to see on the test. The coefficient part, it's very similar to what we did before. I'm just taking the coefficients. All right, so what numbers with the x? What numbers with the y?
2,
What numbers with the z?
3, negative 3.
Negative 3. All right, jump down to the other equation. What numbers with the x?
0,
What numbers with the y?
2,
What numbers with the z?
1,
All right, the last one. What numbers with the x?
0,
0, 0, 1.
We're so smart.
So that's the coefficient.
I mean, I guess.
What are the variables?
X, Y, and Z.
Y, Z.
X, y, z. What are the answers?
12.
Negative 12, 4,
Uh-huh.
2.
Very good.
It's actually good.
Oh my god!
Okay,
Is that it?
so that's writing the equation.
Sweet.
How do you
Now I
type
need to solve it. So it's just like what we did on the front. I want to solve for these variables. How do I get rid of this coefficient?
Inverse.
Inverse, very good, because right now it's being multiplied. So to get rid of this coefficient, I am going to inverse.
Oh, smiggity.
So it goes away. And if you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other, and your inverse has to go first. So it's going to go in front of the answer matrix. With the little negative 1 exponent, yep. Yep. So on the test, I'm okay if you can do some of this in your head, but I do need to see you turn it into a matrix equation. Past that, if you want to do it in your head, I'm okay with that. But I need to see it as a matrix equation. So I have something to grade and know you're not just doing lin solve. Does that make sense? So give me a matrix to grade. I'll be good.
Terry.
You get it, Terry. You're smart.
No,
Menu 3 1 till I die.
no, lin solve is in 3 2.
All right, let me show you how to plug this in.
Menu 3 1.
I thought that was
Look up here so you don't get confused when you have different size matrices. You're still going to press the black button. Now this is a big one, right? So I'm going to go down to the biggest matrix that I have on my calculator. And I'm going to press enter. If you press the biggest matrix, it will pop up the options where you can say how many rows and how many columns you want.
What if I put 100 for each one? What will happen?
It will be a huge matrix.
G, let's do it. Let's do it
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
about to do it.
No, focus for this and then. All right, how many rows do I have here?
3.
How many columns?
3.
Okay, so I'm good there. I'm going to press enter.
It's a 3 by 3.
Type my numbers in. All right, focus one last time. I'm almost done. Angie, you ready?
Yeah.
To get this matrix, you are going to press the black button. Now, it's none of those options, right? But if you still press
The
big one, you can alter it.
Oh my god.
So how many rows do I have?
1.
No.
Y'all are
Row. What's a
This is
row?
3
What's a
rows.
row?
Rows are side to side. Columns are up
Hey,
and
Angie, at
down.
least we were all
3.
Y'all
All
have
right.
little brains.
3 rows, 1 column.
Intelligence is not based on a person's brain size. It is based on the amount
It's
of wrinkles that
oh
have
my
on the
god,
brain,
it's
okay?
bigger than
Okay. Shh. All right, so you put criterion. Shh, Angie. 3 rows, 1 column. You press enter. So what does that mean X is? -4. What is Y?
1.
What is Z? Very good. All right, so, yep. So, X, Y, Z.
Well, that was so much easier.
So-
Oh, I wrote all over the paper. I don't have room for the next one.
That's okay.